Yo, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 100. Yay! So there you go. I mean, pretty fitting, the big epic Skyrim music, and I've been setting this one up for a little bit, not too long, but this is going to be my top 25 favorite video games of all time, if you will. This is a very personal list, and it is not in any way, shape, or form sorted by best games. This is just a personal favorites list, and honestly, a very difficult list to put together. It started at 10, and then I was like, well, I can't let out these 5 games, then it got to 15, and then to 20, and then to 25, and I said, that's it, I'm cutting it off at 25, so I'll be talking about my 25 favorite games, but I highly encourage everybody and anybody listening or watching on YouTube, tell me your top 5, top 1, top whatever amount of games you want to shout out. Go ahead. Highly encouraged. This is my time, though. My 25 favorite games of all time. But before we get into the countdown, let me tell you what I've been up to over the last week or so, as I always encourage you, the viewer, the listener. What have you been up to over the last whatever? I don't care. What movies have you seen lately? Anything good? Anything really bad? I don't care. Let me know what you've been watching, TV-wise, and, of course, let me know what video games you are diving into right now. Old, new, doesn't matter. Same thing with this podcast, where we talk about video games, retro, old, new, it doesn't matter, video games. I completely screwed up my regular intro, but it doesn't matter. It's episode 100. You'd think I'd be decent at this by now, but it is what it is, so we'll just forget about that. But I'm going to tell you right now what I've been up to over the last week or so. So quickly, I'll just, I was very busy with wrestling shows that my wife and I went to this weekend. We went to 3 shows, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. So obviously limited viewing outside of wrestling stuff, and we were pretty gassed out. But, of course, we were jamming with Survivor. If you want to hear more about my live experiences, my wife and I's experiences at the event, Money in the Bank, and NXT's Heatwave, you can check out the pay-per-view review for those 2 pay-per-views. Just uploaded that just this week here, so you can check those out. And if you want to hear the review for my SmackDown live event, it's in the wrestling recap the last week. So if you want to check those out, go ahead. Thank you for listening. Anyway, we watched Survivor. Lots of Survivor. Season 46. My goodness. So we're at the season finale now. So we've been crushing. Pretty fun group of characters, man. Like, Ben is super charming, and in this new version of Survivor, like this kind of new generation, they've been calling it, I think, since season 40, where they've really changed the dynamic of the game, made it faster and much tougher in terms of like nutrition. They basically starve you, and there is it's a shorter game now as well. It's like 28 days, possibly 26. It used to be longer, but now they just give you less food, and like I said, game moves faster. But there is one character in particular. Her name is Liz, and she comes off early in the season very unlikable, we'll say. And I was with my wife. I'm like, yo, Liz sucks. She sucks. But over the course of the season, I've really enjoyed Liz, though she still has her moments, of course. But she's been a fun character, and she has had one of the tougher seasons because she can't even eat, like, she has a lot of allergies, which sucks, so she can't eat any of the coconuts, and coconuts is like a major food source for this new Survivor, and rice isn't very plentiful in the game, so yeah, she's like starving, like in a really harsh way. Regardless, really enjoying Survivor. It has flown by, so we just have to bang out the season finale, and then I'm hoping The Boys Season 4 might be done. Regardless, we'll be getting into that soon. I may have watched one X-Men 97 episode. I have one more episode. I just have the final episode, and I hope I can get it. I will try to get it in there today, but I've been so darn busy with freaking Elden Ring. Oh my goodness. I am just having the time of my life. The homie Josh from the Optional Boss podcast, you can check them out. he just finished it the other day, and we was talking final boss, and the amount of hours that he said it took him is daunting. I'm terrified, and so I'm not there yet, but I'm hoping next week's episode should be and could be the Shadow of the Erdtree review, so we'll see how that one goes. If not, I'm hoping I can have the finish off the verses that I've been working on, so either one of those will be hopefully next. Depends on if I could actually finish Shadow of the Erdtree. We'll see how truly tough this final boss is. I'm a little bit nervous, but right now I am just exploring the map. I am on the brink of finally uncovering the final piece of the map, which is, I mean, my goodness, I can't wait to dive into this game. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're talking bosses, lots of boss talk, and the world that, wow, it's a good time. And we will, Elden Ring, I'm just saying it now, Elden Ring is most certainly going to be discussed at some point during these 25 games, but where will it fall? You're just going to have to wait and see. But, one more other game I got into finally is Sprout Valley. Oh, baby. Okay. I mean, it's super duper charming. I have this on the Switch, and Switch owners may have seen this on sale, like, on a regular basis for, like, $2, $3. I was like, sure, I'll take a swing at it. I think I picked it up for $2, maybe $3, and it is a super, just charming, cute Harvest Moon / Stardew Valley kind of farming simulator. As far as I can tell, I've only put in maybe a couple hours into it. Just kind of take Stardew Valley, very similar, but take out as far as I've played, again, not much, not very far into it, it's strictly like onto my farm. Like, I am only kind of clearing it out and planting crops, which I love. I was so craving that. I was like, yeah, it's scratching that itch. But there's a lack of other things that are drawing me to keep going with it. Like, there's unlockables and stuff. It's super good. Like, if you see it for that on sale price, absolutely pick it up if you like Stardew Valley, and if you don't want to play Stardew Valley anymore by chance and you want to try something else, give this game a shot. It's super cute, it's super charming, and yeah, I would definitely recommend it for a few bucks. Absolutely. Check it out if it's on sale, though. But so far, yeah, it's good. I like playing it while I'm watching Survivor, but not too much because, yeah, it does get a little dry. I can only go through like a handful of days and I'm like, all right, I'm really just watering my crops, planting crops, selling crops, and slowly getting better at, planting and watering and just slowly leveling up. It's a little bit grindy, but yeah, if you like that, sounds good to you, check it out for a few bucks. Absolutely. Okay. Let's talk about my top 25 favorite video games of all time, which would probably change in like a year or so. It doesn't matter, but at least as current as this year, 2024, that we are currently in, these are my top 25 games. Oh baby, here we go. So I just want to lay down some slight rules that I put down for myself just to make it a little bit challenging and so that there aren't just a whole bunch of games from one franchise. So I did limit myself to one game per franchise until we get to the Souls game where it will be explained once we get there, but there is 2 Souls games from the company From Software. There are 2 of their games on this list, but I feel like they are rather different from each other enough so, actually, there's kind of technically 3, so don't get mad, I'm so sorry. Anyway, so those are kind of the only rules. Other than that, most games are, for me, they were basically just they got upgraded. So for example, well, no, I don't want to do that because I'll just kind of give away the whole list. Anyway, some games are just upgraded from my previous favorite games. They were just like, there's newer games now in those franchises, and I'm like, oh, well, this is the go-to one now. There may be some remakes on the list that are paired together with the originals. So just some little rules like that, nothing too crazy. Okay? Alright, let's get into it. Also, I'm going to, the ones that I know I have done episodes on, we won't spend too much time on those games. And we are starting with The Witcher 3, which in fact has 2 episodes dedicated to The Witcher 3, because man, this game is huge, it is epic, and it took me a long time to finally appreciate it, and I really, truly do. It made this list, and let me tell you, that final cut for the 25th spot, like, I felt so horrible for 26, 27, and so many other games that didn't crack this list. Doesn't mean I won't talk about those games at some point, but today it's these games' time to shine again. But The Witcher 3 on this podcast personally has had a ton of love. But I got onto The Witcher 2 a long time ago. Didn't really get down with The Witcher 2. There was just, I got lost in a maze and Bob's your uncle. I was like, out of here. Witcher 3, you know, after hearing all this praise about this game, I finally picked it up with, all the expansions for a ridiculous price. Super cheap, and yeah, tried once, tried twice, tried thrice, and I don't believe even the third time it didn't click with me. I would get about 10 to 15, I think I even got to 25 hours, and the game just overwhelmed me. And then, honestly, it was Cyberpunk that kind of eased me into what CD Red was cooking over there, and it made me appreciate The Witcher 3 a lot more when I came back to it, whatever time that it finally clicked, and I wouldn't let the game overwhelm me. I just took it piece by piece, and then I did the DLC, and yeah, if you want more in-depth, the DLC is one of the greatest I have ever played. Currently playing its competition in Shadow of the Erdtree. It's gonna be a race, man. That could be a versus in its own, but regardless, The Witcher 3 is a fantastic video game. It did take me, like I said, a while to love it, but it's a gorgeous game still. If you haven't checked it out, I mean, there's really no reason not to check it out. It is so inexpensive, and with all the DLCs, absolutely. The DLCs is where it, like, especially the second bigger one, where it really gets fantastical. Like, it just gets magical, it's gorgeous. You can't go wrong with the frickin' Witcher 3. And I'm so happy that it finally clicked. It just, you had to be in the right mood. But a game that is all about setting the mood, and a fantastic mood that always was, is game 24, and that is Animal Crossing's New Horizons. Oh my goodness. So obviously, we have to kind of remember the pandemic, and you were rather team Doom Eternal or Animal Crossing New Horizon. And at the time, I had never played Animal Crossing before. I've been very curious, but me with Nintendo franchises that I've never played before, I am very gun shy. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to take the financial risk in trying a game from Nintendo that I don't know if I'm going to like it. And I finally did take that plunge, and oh my goodness, probably near 600 hours later in Animal Crossing New Horizons, not only did I love that freaking game so much, my wife also was in and around 200 to 300 hours, and I imagine there's a lot of us out there that probably have more hours than me, some that didn't get the Animal Crossing thing, and hey, that's understandable. I'm just that kind, like, I loved The Sims and Harvest Moon growing up, so this is almost like this odd hybrid of those two games colliding together, and it's just so charming. I loved waking up every day. I was an everyday player. I'd wake up, play, well, there were some days where you play, like, early Animal Crossing days, you're putting, like, 8 hours in the game, like, not even lying, like, just stupid amount of hours in the early beginnings of Animal Crossing. Actually, that's not necessarily true, because there was only so much you can do per play session necessary. Anyway, I was addicted, stupidly addicted, and now I am more than likely a lifelong Animal Crossing guy, and my wife included. So whenever the next one comes out, I'm probably picking it up day one, because it's one of those kind of games. Like I said, over 500 hours, so yeah, I got my money's worth with that one. I loved that freaking game. So if you're an Animal Crossing fan out there, me too. Me freaking too. Absolutely loved it. And I mean, I could just go with like, and speaking of love that for everyone, because I love every game on this list, but this one I believe is the only racing game. And if you've followed along with me, you probably know what racing game that is, because it's just my clear-cut favorite. It is almost, in a way, ruined racing games for me, and I can't even really choose one in particular. I just kind of have to do the whole series as its entirety, and that number 23 is Forza Horizon. Oh, dude, this is just I just really can't play another racing game when these games exist. It is just the perfect racing game for me. Not only does it's always beautiful, gorgeous video games, and it really just lets it slide into a more arcadey style than the normal Forza Motorsport games, which I also enjoy. They're pretty darn good. I just, I don't have the simulation wheels and stuff. So these Forza games, not only they can be simulation, but they can also be just downright arcadey, more arcadey fun. The stories, it doesn't matter. You just get put in a beautiful area in the world, Australia. Where the heck else have they been? It doesn't. Australia is the one that stands out to me, so that's more than likely my favorite, because that's always the setting that I loved. The last couple have been a little close, but regardless, I love these games. I love the fact that not only does it look beautiful, it has so many cars to choose from. The customization is stupid. My buddy, the homie Kiao, he loves cars, and he loves Forza Horizon. I think he said something, I'm like 3,000 hours, Kyle. I mean, I'm not judging, bro. It's just good for you. Like, if I had a simulation wheel, I would absolutely have substantially more hours. But across the games, I'm probably easy, like 4. I probably put around 100 hours on each Horizon, because they have great DLC packages. The customization is fantastic, and I love looking at what other people do, because you can just easily download people's car setups, their beautiful customization art that they put on all the cars, a zillion cars to choose from, and I just can't get back to the old style of racing circuit games where it's just like, all right, choose this circuit, do 5 races, and then do it again on this one and this one and this one. In Horizon, it's like, be free, fly away. You pick a freaking whatever vehicle you want. You can take it in the mountains, take it into the forests, and along the way, there's little things to pick up and a little challenges. I love the challenges. They have like drift challenges. I love the jumping ones. You just launch something super fast off a mountain and go 1,000 feet. I love it. I love Forza Horizon. I am a day one guy on those games all the time, especially because they come out on Game Pass generally day one. So I am there for it. I love the Hot Wheels. Yeah, bro. I barely even touch the online stuff. The game is insane. Like, I completely understand, all said and done, why people can put thousands of hours into this game. It's incredible. All of them. If you have not checked out Horizon, be careful, because it might ruin all other racing games for you. Not to say that I don't enjoy other racing games. It's just like, if I'm playing them, I'm just like, I can do this and so much more in Horizon. It's just insane. So if you have not gotten on the Horizon train, even if you don't like racing games, it is an insanely well-made game, and there's so many of them. They're all so much fun. All right, now we go to quite possibly the oldest game. Could be one of, if not the oldest game on this list. It's dear to my heart. One of the earliest games that I remember. Game 22 on this list. Donkey Kong Country 2, baby, the sequel. It just has to be 2. I love 1. Absolutely love 1. I probably, all said and done, I played Donkey Kong Country 1 more because it was an easier game as a child. I played this super young. I played it last year. I still play this game. I love this game. I finally beat it for the first time ever recently, and that was incredible. The game still holds up, at least to me. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, platformer of all time. It's so near and dear to my heart. Full episode on this game, absolutely. I still own, sadly not my original cartridge, but I still have this game on my shelf proudly. I love Donkey Kong Country. And man, I would love like a the way that they've done like Donkey Kong Country Returns, give me a trilogy pack, up-res the original Donkey Kong Country games. It's probably impossible because of the rare and what, but just do it. Just do it because I want it. Everyone wants it, and it would sell a gazillion. So do that, please and thank you. Okay, now we get to Game 21, the one that kicked off the music for this episode. I know it may piss some people off, but it's Skyrim, y'all. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. And yeah, I mean, I really liked Oblivion as well, but Oblivion, kind of like The Witcher, took me a little while to fall in love with it. Skyrim was the one that was immediate. That switched right away, and I was like, yes! And then I went back to Oblivion and played the shit out of Oblivion. But it's Skyrim for me. I will say, admittedly, haven't played it in a long time. It's been re-released a zillion times. I get it. It's the same. It's kind of like the running gag, like Resident Evil or Tetris. It's been released on everything. You can play it on your toothbrush. It's ridiculous, but I loved it. When it came out, it was one of the biggest, most epic releases. Like, I can compare them to, it's like a top 5. Like, that shit, I'll probably do a list of that, just like the biggest releases that I was a part of that, like, really just, that was, you had to beat, like, if you weren't there for Skyrim when it came out, bro, holy shit. Oh, that game is incredible. It may not stand up as the most incredible thing nowadays, but I mean, with PC, I played it originally on PS3. It is not, it is horrible on PS3 nowadays. I will admit that. It's god-awful. So eventually I did play it on PC with mods, and I just fell in love with the game a second time, and I would just continue to play it. And honestly, it's a game that I'm just like, I've given it enough of my time. There's so many other games to play. So, like, dude, I can play Skyrim now, right now, absolutely. But I'm just like, nah, I just need to, there's so many other games, like I said, but Skyrim, dude, the music, I know it's a little, but it was so great for the time. My goodness, I don't even know what to tell you. It's the guilds that really get it for me. I loved all the guild things. I would argue that the Oblivion guilds were actually maybe a little bit better, but I still loved the Skyrim. It's the guilds. The main mission, it was great. But that's not where, like, my highest enjoyments came with Skyrim. It's all the wacky side quests that you're doing, talking dogs, and just, dude, the game's insane. The only thing that I really have a gripe with was I should have the platinum for that game, PlayStation. But a mission glitched out. I believe it was the talking dog. Something happened. I missed that one trophy. I might have another one, but yeah, I just gave up on that. So it is what it is, but I love Skyrim, and I cannot wait in 30 years when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. I might be alive to play it. I really hope I am, but we'll have to just wait and see. But now we get to number 20. Oh, Hades, baby. This game absolutely blew me the frick away from Supergiant Games, and I must say, I just recently purchased their previous titles because I just have fallen in love with this company, and Hades was the one that really just slapped me across the face and said, hey, idiot, Supergiant Games is unfreaking believable, and Hades, to this point, is like their crowning achievement. This game is just so much freaking fun. The story is excellent. I love the characters. I love the theme of the mythology and the gods and just death and everything like that. The roguelike gameplay is just so incredibly addicting. The level of challenge is just so awesome. I love the pacing of that game where it starts out so challenging, and by the end, you are just dominating the game and beating up the bosses that were just destroying you, and I couldn't stop playing this game when I got my hands on it. I was just like, I just wanted to get further into a run, try out some different combinations, try out some different weapons, and if I successfully get through a run, get another piece of the story, talk to some of the characters, because when you come back to the home base, you got all these characters to talk to, and as you're progressing through the game, they're telling you new pieces, you're learning more about the characters. It is just phenomenal. And at this point, if anybody is still like, oh, indie gaming is just, it's not on the level of the AAA video games and blah, blah, blah. No, absolutely not. There are so many incredible indie games. I wish I could have many, many more on this list, but I feel like Hades is my favorite indie game and the one to make it on this list. But oh my goodness, indie gaming, man, like, play Hades, and you'll just be blown away. I cannot wait for Hades 2. Let's just, my goodness, I love Hades so freaking much. Let's go now to number 19. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. 4, baby. 4 is the one for me. That was the one that I owned growing up as a kid, and this game was just an igniter for a very young, I don't know, maybe 9-year-old me. And this game just opened up my eyes to a whole new world. And that got me started into the world of skateboarding, of course. Learning about Rodney Mullen, learning about just the videos that the game came with just blew me away. I will still watch the Rodney Mullen videos. Watching that guy skateboard was mind-melting. That guy is still to me the greatest skateboarder to ever shred, bro. That guy is amazing. And I got introduced to Rodney Mullen. I got introduced to skateboarding, which also introduced me to Bam Margera, Jackass, and all of that. It sent me down that whole entire rabbit hole. I became a massive Jackass junkie and skateboard junkie, and it was all thanks to this game. It absolutely set me off, and it is still my favorite Tony Hawk's game. It was my first one. It was my first experience, and that was their 4th game in the franchise by then, and it was very much so put together. It's not like the first 2 games, and I didn't play the first 3 games. I started on 4, so I just don't have that level of nostalgia, but goddamn, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Played it for so many years. I still own my original copy that I was gifted by my homie. Back in the day, he used to give me PlayStation Hits games for my birthday and stuff like that, and man, he always knocked it out of the park, and this was one that he gave me, and it has stuck with me forever. I have a full episode on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, so you want to hear me ramble more about it, go over there and listen to that episode. But let's move on now to number 18. It's a Mario game, shockingly. I made it very clear that I'm not the biggest Mario guy in the world, mostly just compared to other people, but I absolutely respect and appreciate the Mario franchise, and I too have played them and really enjoyed a Mario game. Now, I am split here. I have 2 Mario games here because, let me explain. So, they are Mario Galaxy 2 and Mario Odyssey. So my reasoning for having these 2 is that I haven't actually gone back and replayed Mario Galaxy 2 in a long time, but that was the one that really just kind of shut my mouth up about, I used to be on the, Super Mario 64 is overrated, not that good, I didn't grow up with it, I played it later, and I was like, this isn't all that good compared to other games. But what my little brain didn't realize is that Mario 64 was the fucking bar, man. They were one of the first 3D platformers, and are still, people are still pulling things from that game. It was so genius, it's ridiculous. But Mario Galaxy 2 was really the game that I fell in love with for the Mario franchise. I adored that one. I wasn't huge on Galaxy 1. There were some things that I just didn't like about that one, but Galaxy 2 was just so much fun, just so beautiful. The addition of Yoshi was just, oh my god, why wasn't he in all the games? But having him in there, I know people don't like the Wii very much, but I thought Galaxy 2 used the wiggle controls, the motion controls, very well for that time. The balancing, just so many fun freaking levels, the boss fights, one of the hardest levels I've ever played, the final level of the perfect run or whatever the hell it was called. Still can't beat it. Never gonna beat it. But then there's Mario Odyssey, which is the most recent of the 3D Mario games that I played, and it absolutely blew me away. So why I have it here is that I would imagine that I would take Odyssey over Galaxy 2 nowadays, but like I said, I need to go back and play Galaxy 2 again just to see if I really do still like Galaxy 2 more than Odyssey. But right now, it's a battle between Odyssey and Galaxy 2. I just couldn't pick one of them, but yeah, dude, just Galaxy 2 meant so much to me. I have a full Let's Play of it on my YouTube channel. It is old as hell. Probably didn't age very good. I will be extremely annoying. More annoying than I am now in that video. So I don't know. You probably shouldn't watch it, but it's there if you want it. But Mario, baby. All right, let's move on to game 18. It's another situation where I have two games because I just can't pick between them. It's Final Fantasy 9 and Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, Final Fantasy 9 is, they kind of, if you're not on the Super Nintendo group, then you're probably in that PlayStation trilogy group of 7, 8, 9. Not many people loving on 8, I understand. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. But it's generally between 7 and 9. More people like 7. It is by far the more popular game. But myself personally, I've played 7 and 9 in the last 2 years. I preferred 9. I was more into the characters. It was a goofier game. It was gorgeous. I really liked the story. I just really loved Final Fantasy 9. And the rumors floating around that there's a potential, Final Fantasy remake version of Final Fantasy 9 possibly in the works, that has me a little bit sopping wet. So that is amazing. I love Final Fantasy 9, but I can't not put Final Fantasy VII Remake because that game just reignited my love for Final Fantasy again. Like I was a Final Fantasy fan, absolutely. Like Final Fantasy 12 would have been on this list, but again, I haven't played it in so long, and there's just been other Final Fantasy experiences that have now kind of overshadowed Final Fantasy 12. I love Final Fantasy 12. I'm just going to shout it out right here, right now. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, I mean, Jesus. I was there when they showed off the tech demo in, 2005? And we've been waiting ever since. And it finally happened, and it was actually freaking awesome. Couldn't believe it, but yeah, so it would have to be, it's a tie between those two. I feel like it's a little unfair with 7 Remake because it's building off of something so popular. So if I really had to pick, I'm going to say Final Fantasy 9. I just adored that game. That game, even I think I played it in 2023, still blew me away. I was like, the graphics, the characters, the story, the gameplay, I loved it. I was absolutely smitten with Final Fantasy 9. So there it is. Let's go now to game 17. It's Call of Duty, and I've did it again. I picked 2 because honestly, if I can create my perfect Call of Duty, it'd be these 2 Call of Duties mixed together. That is Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The older ones, not the remakes of the fucking 2007 and the 2009 video games. So Call of Duty 4, best campaign in the franchise. Fight me, not even an argument in my books. It's Call of Duty 4, best campaign. Modern Warfare 2, very controversial. I understand this. It to me was the most fun online for me in all of the Call of Duties online. It was such a step above Call of Duty 4. Like, you got all the addition of the kill streaks, these incredibly customizable weapons, and so many more fucking perks. I know the game was broken, so freaking broken, egregiously broken. I understand this, and they never fixed it, and I was on the top of the mountain yelling and screaming about commando and one-man army bullshit and all that. I understand it, but fuck me on Sundays. I had so much fucking fun with Modern Warfare 2, man. Demolition. I love the guns in that game. The TAR-21, the UMP, the Intervention, the Barrett 50 cal. Come on, let's go. The Vector Collector, y'all. Let's go. Fucking the first time I entered an AC-130 online, I shit my pants. Chopper Gunners, the nuke. Like, it was an incredible time, man. I camped out overnight to get this game as early as possible. I skipped school to play this fucking game. Everything. Now, with Call of Duty 4, there's just so much respect and love for that game. That's where the beginning of my Call of Duty fucking lifestyle just began. And I remember grinding through that game, taking months to finally get good at that game online. I finally got it, and God, I'll always remember the amazing memories starting on Call of Duty 4. Of course, I have full episodes on both of these games, so you can go back and track those down and listen to them. The memories with the homies crawling through the grass and being terrified, not knowing what to do. Oh my God, I will always love these two games, just all the memories that I had with the homies. Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2. And speaking of 2, we have another number 2 coming at number 15, which is... Oh my God, I get chills every time I hear that. It's Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, baby. This game, wow. Probably still to me one of the greatest sequels that has ever been released. Like, Uncharted, the first game, I really, really enjoyed that game. I thought it was amazing, but there was definitely a thing or two not quite right yet with that game, but the bones were there. And then Uncharted 2 came out, and oh my God, man. This is like, I feel like Uncharted 2 really started to set the tone for what PlayStation was going for. These breathtaking, movie-like action video games with an incredible story and characters and outstanding set pieces. And when I finally got my hands on Uncharted 2, I played it, blown away, and immediately when I rolled credits, I started playing the game again. I was just like, I want to experience that immediately again, and I never ever do that. It's just something I never do, but I was just so in love with the experience that I just had with Uncharted 2. I had to start it immediately again and went through the whole entire game again. And I don't know how many times now I've played through Uncharted 2, probably around 4 to 5 times, and I would still play through that game in a heartbeat. Absolutely. It's the only reason why I won't play it is because I've played it so many times and there's so many other games deserving of my time. But Uncharted 2, baby, oh my goodness, it just I don't like using the word perfected, but it just made everything that Uncharted 1 did so much better. It was bigger, faster, tighter. It just, oh my God. And the character development of Nathan Drake and Victor goddamn Sullivan, Chloe, and oh my God, man, I love these characters. And the first game, the story was a little, whatever, it was there. And now they were really starting to get serious with the tone and the characters and everything like that. My God, I love Uncharted 2, man. One of my favorite franchises, of course, but without a doubt, 2 is my game. I adore this game so freaking much. For me, there is no more of a perfect friggin' game than Uncharted 2, but that is number 15. Let us go now to number 14, one of the most recent games on this list. Won my game of the year last year. It's Baldur's Gate 3. Oh my goodness. So this game came out of absolutely nowhere, and I mean absolutely nowhere. I had never played a Baldur's Gate before, barely have heard of Baldur's Gate prior to Baldur's Gate 3, and didn't know a singular thing about this game until it dropped, and the reviews were coming out, amongst, Tears of the Kingdom coming out in the same year, and reviews were matched up with that game, if not higher. And I was like, what is this freaking game? Started looking into it. It sounded amazing. This story, this customization, this fantastical world that apparently is everything that they've promised and more. It's like, what? So I got this game, and wow, for 150 to 160 hours, this game took me on one hell of a fucking ride, I must say. Some of the greatest cast of characters I have ever been introduced to. The gameplay is just so up my alley. I can't say I've ever played anything quite like it. This kind of action RPG strategy, it was sensational. It was hard. It was ruthless. It was hilarious. It was so many things. All the emotions throughout Baldur's Gate 3. One of the most epic just adventures I've ever been on in a video game. And I love talking Baldur's Gate with people at work or just in general, because everyone seems to have a different experience, because there's so many paths you can go down in Baldur's Gate, so many situations you can find yourself in, so many experiences that you will have. And I imagine when I play through this game again, I will have a completely different experience than I had the first time. I cannot wait till I can find another 100+ hours to go through this game again. I know I will at some point, but wow, this game absolutely blew me away. I cannot freaking believe it just exists and how good it was. I love Baldur's Gate 3, and Larian Studios, from here on out, you have my absolute full and undivided attention. Whatever you release, I want it. I'm going to heat it up. I love you. Speaking of love, one of my most cherished childhood video games of all time, it's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Oh, yeah, baby. PS2, where they were releasing fucking 7 Grand Theft Autos on a console. It was amazing, and now we get one per lifetime, which is like, wow. But hey, we still love Grand Theft Auto, right, everybody? I mean, yeah, I'm still there. I'm just not the online Grand Theft Auto guy. But without a doubt, for me, it's San Andreas. No, it's not the best one. I don't think it's older now, but it still sticks with me, man. CJ, Big Smoke, like, come the fuck on. Samuel Jackson, like, I love the story. I love the setting of this game, the 90s West Coast, East Coast situation, the music, the gameplay. I love the, now this was my first open world San Andreas experience. I played Grand Theft Auto 2 growing up as a kid, and then going from Grand Theft Auto 2, which was top down, completely different, to this 3D world that I can ride around in and do whatever I want. There was so much to do in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I didn't even beat this game until maybe a decade after I originally got it, because there was just so much other shit I would get sidetracked with, just running around, killing people, getting into gang wars, going to the casinos, just driving around, crashing fucking airplanes, you name it. Hookers. So much time with the hookers. But Grand Theft Auto, baby, it's just whatever one you love the most. I feel like everyone's probably, if they've played a Grand Theft Auto, it's gonna be on their list. I have a full episode of San Andreas. It's my most popular episode on the whole entire podcast by far. So if you haven't already listened to it, go over there and listen to my San Andreas episode. You'll hear the story about how my grandma was very not impressed about me playing this game as a young kid. But it is what it do, Grandma. I'm sorry. All right, we go now to game number 12, and I'm sorry if I say any of the numbers wrong. It's lists are hard to go in reverse order, and I should have numbered them, but I didn't. I'm going with a checkbox system. All right, game number 12 is Pokemon Gold and Silver. That's my babies right there. I'll even say Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That's completely fine as well. Honestly, those would be the versions of the game that I would play now, because why wouldn't I? That's just the upgraded, yeah. So, yeah, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Gold, Silver, what have you. It's Pokemon, and that was the one. I did play Red. I had Red growing up. I loved it, of course, but I didn't get anywhere near as addicted as I did with Gold. Gold was mine. My sister had Silver. There's no animosity to Silver players. Don't worry, I'm cool with you. Lugia, that's all good. So, this game took over my life as a child. I went through probably thousands of dollars of batteries until we finally got a charger, the little fucking worm battery headlight thing so I could play freaking Pokemon in the dark. And oh my god, dude, I went through this game a zillion times, going through the Elite Four and leveling up my Pokemon to 100. I couldn't collect them all. I was not that good. My sister almost did. And of course, I have a full episode of Pokemon Gold and Silver, and you can listen to that episode and hear the horrifying story that is my sister's Silver game, and the tragic story that is. That's all I'll leave it at. You'll have to go listen to the episode for the story. But it's Pokemon, man, spending going late into the night, just grinding and leveling up Pokemon, trying to catch those stupid legendary dogs, fucking Raikou, Suicune, and freaking Entei, the unknown, and just the fact that this game is so giving. They give you this game, and then when you get through the Elite Four, they're just like, oh, hey, here's the whole region from the last game. Go ahead, have at it, kiddo. And it's just like, that melted my brain. Catching Ho-Ho was such an insane experience for me. I remember running around the house, screaming and yelling, going crazy to my dad, just like, I caught it, and just like, oh man. The memories with Pokemon, I love Pokemon, but it's Pokemon, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Silver Gold. Those are my babies right there. We move now. We are just outside of the top 10. Number 11 is Red Dead Redemption, mister. Oh, okay. So this game, it absolutely took over everyone's life for a little bit when that came out, especially like myself and some fellow co-workers at work, where we were all playing this game and we all just started becoming cowboys. We all started going, hey there, mister, and we're all talking fucking Red Dead Redemption. And this game is just a masterclass in an open world video game. I understand it may not be the most replayable thing. Like, I myself included tried to replay Red Dead Redemption, and it was a little bit boring, like, once you know the story and everything. But regardless, that first experience going through Red Dead Redemption 2 was one in a million, man. Like, what a unbelievable experience that was. The characters of that game, the performance, the just the work that was put into that game, the little details are mind-melting. It's insane, man, and it has truly just opened my eyes to how much work is put into video games. And you know, it really makes me notice all the little things that they did and what other companies aren't doing that Rockstar did with Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, there really is basically no wasted space in Red Dead Redemption 2. In a game that massive, that is an unbelievable achievement. You'll be riding your horse, and you will find yourself into a situation. It's incredible. I just loved this world. It just really brought me into being a fucking cowboy, man. It really brought me into that setting. I loved the early parts of the game where you're setting up your camp and you're just, you know, tucked away in the forest, just trying to get by with your group. And my God, what a magical experience. The heartbreaking story, just, it's truly a crowning achievement in video games in terms of performance and just technical master. It's just, wow, this game is absolutely sensational. I understand if it's not for everybody, but I can't get over just how much this game took me over and how constantly blown away I was at things happening. I will recall, like, just walking around this creepy forest, and then, like, these weird sounds started, like, coming out from the forest around me, like whistles and clacking, and then I ended up getting surrounded by, like, these group of fucking people, and it was one of the most scary, random moments that I've ever experienced in a video game that isn't a horror game. And it was just chilling, absolutely chilling. And you would hear these, like, rumors of other people's experiences in the game. It kind of brought me back to, like, pre-internet video gaming, where you're just, like, hearing these things and you're just, like, a little it's amazing, man. I don't know what to tell you. Red Dead Redemption 2, mister. That's number 11. Now we get to the top freaking 10. Number 10 is Resident Evil 4 remake and the original one. It doesn't matter. I love these games. I have done a ton of Resident Evil love on this podcast. One of the earliest episodes was my Resident Evil 4. I did Resident Evil 4 Remake. I did our fucking Resident Evil Versus. So I've talked a ton about Resident Evil on this podcast, but for the sake of the people that may not have heard me talk about Resident Evil 4, I love this game. I fucking love this game, but I didn't love it at first. I originally borrowed it from a friend, the PS2 version, and I was like, the controls, I just don't like the controls. So eventually I played the Wii version of Resident Evil 4, believe it or not, and fell in freaking love with Resident Evil 4. I replayed Resident Evil 4 on the Wii probably 5 or 6 times, got every weapon, all the costumes, and I just loved the motion controls for shooting the zombies. I thought it was a match made in freaking heaven. And from then on, I had been a bona fide Resident Evil junkie. Early memories, Resident Evil was just way too freaking scary for me. But this one, Resident Evil 4, I know people are like, oh, this was the downfall. This is where the scary stopped happening. Resident Evil 4 is hella scary. How dare you? The regenerator things, my God, the Iron Maidens, yuck. But they also have the remake, and the remake I played this year, absolutely freaking phenomenal. And I think they're basically different games. Like, they did such a great job with the remake that it felt different enough but familiar at the same time. It is a masterclass in remakes, but it's Resident Evil 4, man. Like, it's on so many people's top games list. Who hasn't said amazing things about Resident Evil 4? Who's played it? I mean, if you haven't played it, you gotta freaking play it. Now they have the remake. There is no excuse. But if you can't track down that Wii version, oh my goodness, it is a shockingly good amount of time. But this is what got the ball rolling for that third-person, over-the-shoulder style of Resident Evil. Whether you liked it or not, that's what got that ball rolling. It started going down that way, and I'm a big fan. I love 5. 5 could have been on this list if if I was maybe had a drink or two, I could have been convinced. But no, it's Resident Evil 4 without a doubt. Absolutely amazing game. My favorite horror game ever. It is what it do. Resident Evil 4. I don't know what can be said about the game that hasn't been said before. It's a masterpiece. Number 9, this is without a doubt the oldest game on the list. One of the earliest games I ever remember playing, and it has stuck with me my whole entire life. Number 9 is Chrono Trigger. Oh man, this game absolutely was so cool to me as a kid, even though I couldn't get very far in the game as a very young child. The carnival at the beginning of the game, I just loved running around there as a kid, and yeah, I would get as far as I could. I would always get stuck at the robotic dragon on the bridge, just didn't understand it. I was 4 years old, so give me a fucking break. But man, the music stuck with me. I still hum the music, especially the carnival music, because I heard it so many times. But the characters, the gameplay, it just all blew me away. I love the art style of this game. It's still gorgeous. I will still play Chrono Trigger. Played it a couple of years ago, and it's still such an outstanding video game with all these different endings. I love the characters so much. Fuck, Frog is all time, dude. Like, all freaking time. And Chrono, his hair is all time. Like, I love the freaking time traveling thing, which is really, kind of overdone nowadays, but back then it was so fucking cool. We're going prehistoric, we're going far into the future. Oh my goodness. I am blown away with this game. I love it. I don't even need a remaster or anything of this game. I think it's perfect the way that it is, but I would love for everybody to be able to experience it. So if you need to do a 2D, HD remake or whatever, get that shit done. Put Chrono Trigger in the hands of everybody in the world. I think it is one of the greatest RPGs ever created. I love Chrono Trigger, and I can't confirm. I feel like, yes, there is a full episode dedicated to Chrono Trigger. There better be. So go back there and track that one down. But one of the earliest games that still holds such a special, special place in my heart. like these next couple of games do. Number 8 is another duel, but it's Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. So again, the reasoning why I have these two side by side is that I have not gone back to replay Bloodborne because I've been freaking patiently waiting for a 60 FPS upgrade, some sort of PS5 upgrade, so I can play it in 60 frames per second, because that's what I'm used to now. It'd be a little it's a little tricky to go back to the old style, but Bloodborne was the first Souls game that I got through. I've been a Souls guy ever since Demon Souls came out on PlayStation 3 way back, 2008, 2009, I was there for that, and yes, I got my ass kicked by Demon Souls, couldn't beat it, got my ass kicked by Dark Souls, couldn't beat it, and then I got to Bloodborne. I was like, all right, Bloodborne, let's see what you got. And yes, I used a guide. At that point, I was like, okay, third time's the charm. I can't beat these games. I'm using a guide, and it finally helped me understand From Software and these freaking Souls games, and I fell in love. Absolutely fell in love. I'm a bona fide Souls junkie now. Love all From Software's games. I want all of them in my face all the time. But Bloodborne is the one that finally got it to click. And I was like, I understand now. And I was getting it, of course, with Demon Souls. I had those moments where I was dying and would fucking throw the controller down in frustration. And then 10 minutes later, I'm back. And I'm like, why am I back? I just, what the hell? But Bloodborne, it clicked. I started taking down these bosses and feeling this level of achievement that I have not felt in a video game before. Like battling a boss and then after hours and attempts and finally taking it down. That feeling is crack cocaine. It's a very addicting. And so are the Souls games. The combat, just the level design, the worlds that you are in, the lore is outstanding. These games are so freaking good. I understand if they're not everybody's cup of tea. Totally understand that. If you're like, they're just not for me, I'm not going to berate you for that, because I'm like, I understand that. Like, some people don't want to get their asses handed to them while they're playing video games and attempting something over and over and over again. But it's the way that these games are designed, and it just makes you come back for more and more and more pain. So Bloodborne is the one. But like I said, I haven't gone back and played it again for a while. So, but Dark Souls 3, I got to talk Dark Souls 3 for a minute, because this game blew me away. At this point, this was me going through a lot of Souls games. I did Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, and then I got to Dark Souls 3. We won't talk about Dark Souls 2, okay? We'll just pretend. I haven't played it yet, so there you go. But 3, wow. This game, from the second I started playing it, I was just like, my jaw dropped. I was just like, this game is gorgeous. It's so fun. The boss fights, they may have, from start to finish, the best boss fights. Dark Souls 3. There was only like one fight that pissed me off that I was like, I don't like how this one was designed, but all the other fights, so fun, so challenging. I know I can't remember his friggin' name right now, but that Dragon Knight dude, I know that fight was a little mechanically fucked up, but so epic. That beating him was one of like my ultimate achievements. It felt so good taking him down, but man, that game was I was just constantly blown away at just how good it was. I love Dark Souls 3. It is without a doubt my favorite in the Dark Souls games. Like, it's not even close. I know you people out there love your Dark Souls 1, but for me, it's not even close. It's Dark Souls 3, and Bloodborne is, because they're kind of different. Like, they are different. They're different games. It's just made by the same company. Hence why I have them here together. But I don't know. For me, I think it's still more than likely Bloodborne. It's the atmosphere. It's the setting. It's the really weird story. I love how Bloodborne is a faster-paced game than your normal Souls. It's more encouraging of aggressive gameplay. They want you... There's a brilliant mechanic that I love to death, as if you get hit, you will obviously lose health, but if you quickly hit them back, you can get some of that health back, and it just encourages this amazing risk-reward gameplay that I loved. Bloodborne was what made me, that was the style of Souls player I was to be. I'm up in that booty, I'm rolling around, I'm dodging, being fast, and yes, Bloodborne. Oh, I can't wait. Please remake it, remaster it, do something, please, Sony, please, please. All right, game number 7 is actually a franchise, the whole entire franchise, and that is the franchise of Rock Band. Oh my goodness, dude. So, you know, I'm a huge music guy. I love music. And growing up, you know, we have music classes and whatnot. And I've always been, you know, not to toot my own horn, but kind of a little bit musically inclined. I was always doing well in my music classes. Whatever instrument they gave me, the recorder, the fucking saxophone, I figured it out. Even like the saxophone, I was like, no instructions. They gave me no help on how to even use this instrument, and by a couple of weeks I was playing with the class. I was caught up with them. And I've always wanted to play drums. Been begging for a drum set for as long as I can remember. It was never gonna happen for me, so I was like, fuck, man. So then this Rock Band thing came out, and right around, you know, the Guitar Hero craze was full swing. Absolutely full swing. Yes, I wanted Guitar Hero really bad, but I knew this Rock Band thing was on the horizon, and I knew it had a drum set, and I was like, that's what I want. That's all I was focused on. Didn't care about the guitars. All I cared about was drums. Guitar Hero didn't have it, so that's why I chose Rock Band. I waited for Rock Band. Everyone was playing Guitar Hero, and I'm sitting there patiently waiting for my Rock Band. And boy, how did it ever pay off. This thing, I don't even want to know how many hours I've put into Rock Band 1, 2, 3 over the course of, since probably well over 10 years I've played Rock Band. I would have to admit, I don't even know. I played it every day for so long. I played it at least once a week for so long until I was finally able to get my own drum set, to it which I can thank Rock Band for actually helping me. It didn't teach me perfectly how to play drums, but it gave me something to work off of. And the amount of memories that I had with my friends coming over on game days, and we would make our band, Estimated Blood, and off we went on our tours, playing music together, and it felt fucking real, bro. It felt real. I don't even care how goofy it looked. Just playing with these little fake plastic instruments, it felt fucking real to me, bro. I felt like I was playing in front of 30,000 people cheering for us. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I couldn't have asked for anything more out of Rock Band. And I moved on to Rock Band 2. It just got better and better. I bought hundreds and hundreds of downloadable songs, and yeah, dude, I only just recently, like a couple of years ago, finally packed up the Rock Band drums and put them away, because I have a real drum set now that I can play. All thanks to Rock Band. I can actually play the thing without, you know, I learned how to play drums through Rock Band, which I think is sensational. Was it a perfect teacher? No, absolutely not. It is not a one-for-one learning tool how to learn drums, but it was the best thing that I had available to me at the time. And I thank Rock Band so much for existing and giving me that opportunity, and having so many fun game days with my homies playing Rock Band. It was almost a telepathic thing when we're like sitting at class. They're like, all right, there's a PA day coming up. And we were just all like, perk up, look at each other, and it's just like a head nod. It's game day. We're rock banding, and we're going to play Rock Band all fucking day. Some of the greatest memories I ever have. I love Rock Band so freaking much. Let us move now to game number 6. It's Persona 5. I would even say Persona 5 Royal. Even though I haven't played Royal, Royal is the definitive edition of Persona 5 to play. So if you haven't played it and you're gonna play it, play Royal. My thing was, I played Persona 5, and then Royal was released about 2 months later, and I was like, well, I'm not going to go through that whole entire thing again, even though I would love to. It was about 150 hours of absolute glory. Persona 5. I've known of Persona for years. I've heard of 3, I heard of 4, I even tried out 4, and it didn't quite click. And then 5 came out, and it worked. I don't know, it just worked. The concept of these games sounds so weird. You're like a student, and you're just kind of living your everyday life. building bonds with your friends, and meanwhile at night you're going into this crazy shadow world and fighting demons and saving people. It's, oh my god, it is just so incredibly addicting. I love the schedule of the game where it's just like, okay, every day you gotta be efficient with your day and build relationships. It is just the most fun, addicting gameplay, and the amount of incredible characters in these games, the music, and I especially love the music in Persona 5 with its kind of jazzy the jazzy tones of Persona 5 are, I love it so much. Joker, the characters, like, oh my god, I love them. Probably cried a couple of times throughout this story. You get so attached to the characters and building these bonds. It's just outstanding. That's what's so special about the Persona games. You're just like, I'm gonna get so close with these characters and get so attached to the story, and it's just the feeling of the summer vibes and hanging out with your friends in the summer at the beach. They just nail so many amazing aspects. I'm going to be a lifelong Persona guy from here on out. I've played them all now. Well, not the old ones, but 3, 4, and 5. And 5 still stands for me as my favorite one. It's just a sensational freaking video game. Oh my goodness, everybody. We have made it to the top 5 video games. My top 5 favorite video games of all time. This is getting scary now, but number 5 is... oh, you better believe it's Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Oh my goodness. You better believe that I am super duper excited for the remake, remaster of this game, because for me, this is the ultimate Metal Gear Solid game. The story is so fucking good, dude. I'm just gonna say it right now. I sobbed like a fucking baby multiple times throughout this game. The story is just so heartbreaking, and the relationship between Big Boss and I can't even, it's been so, like, I haven't played the game in so long because I don't want to sob like an absolute baby like that ever again. But Metal Gear Solid, man, is just, I got down the rabbit hole of Metal Gear Solid, and when I finally got to this one, holy shit, I love almost, like, damn near everything about this game is so cool. The camouflage, having to actually blend in with your environments, changing your outfit, surviving in the jungle. You have to kill rats and snakes, and you have to feed yourself and survive out in this wilderness that you found yourself in. It's insane. The story is freaking insane, man. The boss fights are so incredibly memorable. Like, the end is gonna go down as one of the craziest, coolest boss fights I have ever been a part of, and the Easter eggs surrounding that fight alone and inside these games is just fucking sane. I love stealth video games. I know they're not for everybody, but Jesus, man, the level of, I love just the stealth in Metal Gear Solid. It is so good here. Yes, the game didn't age fantastically. It's a little bit difficult to play still nowadays because, it's just the controls are a little bit tanky. But the story, the boss fights, the level, just the storytelling in this game was sensational. I love the Ocelot, and seeing like the younger versions of the characters that, this is a prequel story, so we're going back in time during, I think we're in the 60s here, and the theming of the game, kind of like an old Bond 007 movie. Oh my god, the Snake Eater soundtrack, that song is Oh, it gets to the feels. Like, I can't listen to that song or I'll fucking cry. Absolutely. Oh man, I don't know if I have a full episode. I don't think I've done an episode on Metal Gear Solid 3 because I haven't played it in so long. My memories are a little bit hazy. I'm very much so patiently waiting for the remaster or for at least like a decent price drop on the Metal Gear Solid 3 where you can, they have it out there. So anyway, love Metal Gear Solid 3. It's very close between Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear Solid 4. Sadly, kind of like The Witcher 3, I haven't been able to click with Metal Gear Solid 5 just yet. I have it on the docket to try and get it in this year and give it another shot and hope it works, but for now, it's Metal Gear Solid 3. Fucking love that game so freaking much. And for a long, long time there, it was number one. Absolutely was number one on my list for a very long time. But we move now to number 4. It's Fallout 3. Oh, yeah. Fallout 3, man. This game, I'll always remember my vault opening moment on my PlayStation 3 in 2008 and just having my jaw hit the fucking ground. When I got out of that vault and I saw the wasteland before me, it was one of those moments, man, where you're just like, we've made it, y'all. We've made it. We've made it. That's all I had to say. It's just, we fucking made it. We did it. And Fallout 3 was it, man. I know people don't love these games. They're not everybody's a fan. I am, though. I love this open world exploration, just going into these, hey, what's that over there? A train station. Let's go check it out. And we're scavenging for shit. Some ghouls pop out and we're fucking shooting them. And the VAT system. I know it was a system made because of the limitations of the shooting system in the game, but I love the VAT system. It was so the first time I popped a head like a watermelon in the VAT system, I was in love forever. I was like, we made it, y'all. We made it. And being able to shoot any limb and the strategy of that was just fucking cool. If I shoot their legs, their leg gets crippled and they can't move fast. If I shoot their gun, I can shoot their gun out of their hand. It's so cool. The wasteland in general. Yes, it's a wasteland. It's not filled to the brim with colorful trees and all that stuff. It's very brown and whatever, green, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's awesome. I just loved coming across a settlement. You're like, what's going on here? And then you get into this wacky fucking side quest with these weird people doing weird shit. And the guns, so many awesome weapons. I'll never forget the railway rifle thing where you're shooting railroad spikes into people's heads and lobbing off their heads and pinning them against the walls. It's just sensational, man. And on top of it's an RPG. You're building up this character, whether they're sneaky, they're powerhouses, they're melee builds. You can do all these crazy things. It's just like, and there's a lot of like little hidden things in Fallout. I've heard of people doing things. I'm like, I've never done that. I haven't heard of that. And it's just like, I love Fallout, man. The whole world of Fallout, fucking Megaton, like Moria Brown, the survival guide, the nuke, the nuke in Megaton, oh my god, there's just so many amazing things that goes down in Fallout 3. And I just recently did an episode on Fallout 3 not very long ago. So to go along with the Fallout TV show that came out, which was also phenomenal. So yeah, right now we're doing okay as Fallout fans. Yes, we're still very far away from Fallout 5, which makes me incredibly sad, but I can't wait for that game to come out. Yes, I love Fallout 4, and I love New Vegas as well, of course, but for me, Fallout 3 was my first one, and it's just, without a doubt, it has stuck with me so very much, man. I can't get enough of Fallout 3. I want to play it right freaking now, but there's just so many other games I need to play in my life. And let us move off of Fallout 3, as hard as it is. Let's go to the most recent game on this list, quite possibly. Number 3 is Elden Ring. So this is where I'm like, okay, I'm having 2 games from one company, From Software, but my reasoning is Elden Ring is so vastly different than Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, it's a completely different game. So that's why it's here. And for me, it is my favorite FromSoft game. It is combining the open world stuff that I love in video games and not, taking it to that annoying level like Assassin's Creed or something where it's just checklist, do this, do that, go there, do this. Elden Ring, I think, quite possibly has the greatest level of exploration I have ever had in a video game. The things you see in this game are jaw-dropping. It is relentless in how much shit you see. You're just like, oh, here's a simple cave that turns into some giant underground mausoleum cave, castle, underground nightmare. Crazy. I literally went down a well once in Elden Ring and I spent 2 weeks down there. It was fucking insane, dude. Like, it's just an insane game. It doesn't make any fucking sense that it exists, but it does. And on top of this amazing world, you have incredible lore and storytelling. The weapons, just the combat in Elden Ring is just so amazing. There's hundreds of weapons to try. There's different play styles, so much to do, and it has never been more accessible than in Elden Ring. They give you summons, you have a horse to ride, you can jump, you can do so much more that you couldn't do in the original Dark Souls games that now they give you the free reign to do. And I have never felt more free and in control in my Souls experience than in Elden Ring. My apologies, and now on top of that, I have the Shadow of the Erdtree. Now, I am not including DLCs in any of these games that are on this list. It is base game only. So if there's amazing DLCs, even The Witcher 3, I talked about the DLCs, but that had no part in that game being included on the list, though it does have incredible DLC. If Elden Ring didn't have Shadow of the Erdtree, it would still be here on this list. Probably still would be number 3. But now we got Shadow of the Erdtree. It's just even more of what we love. The boss fights, there's so many boss fights. There's so much to do. It's endless. You just get lost in this world. It's gorgeous. It's scary. It's gross. It's everything, man. It's Elden freaking Ring. One of the greatest games I have ever played. And I'm still playing it. I don't want to stop playing it. And, so now we get to the final 2 video games on this list. This is tough. I can interchange this top 3, this top 4 at any point, but I'm just going to lock it in. It is what it is. Number 2 is Mass Effect 2. This game is my baby. This is my baby. This is my comfort food game. I will go back and play this game anytime. I'm going to play it this year. I know I am. The feeling is there. I replayed Mass Effect 1 again last year, and it's just a matter of time before I have to go back and play Mass Effect 2 because this game is so fucking good. I love the theme of this game where it's this big suicide mission and you are just trying to find a group that will come with you and get the job done. And that fucking adventure is unreal. The characters that you meet along the way, and each character has like a missions and a whole storyline that you do with them to learn more about them and build your bond with them so that they will trust you enough to hopefully make it through the suicide mission you're going on. So all along, you know that you're probably going to die in the end, and you're just building up these relationships. The gameplay is so fucking fun, man. Like, the Vanguard, it like changed my whole, like, that just ruined my life, man. The Vanguard to me is the most fun class to play in Mass Effect. You're just slamming into bitches, getting super up close and personal, hit them with the shotgun, hit them with another freaking pounce move or whatever the hell. The Vanguard is so much fun. I love the classes in the game. It's just, I always end up going back to the Vanguard because it's just, that's just me personified. I love run and gun, shotguns, up close and personal. Let's fucking go. And I can't get enough of it, man. I love Mass Effect 2's gameplay. I can't get enough of the story, the music, the characters, everything. I tried and I don't even know how many times I tried that suicide mission till I finally got it right. And when I did, that feeling, bro, oh my god. Oh, Jesus, I love Mass Effect. Love the trilogy. I know people are sour on the trilogy. They're sour on Mass Effect in general. I even really liked Andromeda. I'm that fucked up. But Mass Effect 2, without a doubt, to me, that's my favorite freaking, like, BioWare RPG. One of my favorite RPGs. Just love Mass Effect 2. So, there's only one game that I put higher on this list than Mass Effect 2, higher on this list than every other game on this list, and there could be only one. My favorite game of all time is... The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom, but Breath of the Wild was first, so technically that's the one. But I am very fully aware. I played Tears of the Kingdom. It's the better game. It has more to it, but Breath of the Wild, man, that brought me back over to Nintendo. I was out of Nintendo. Like, I was like, all right, like after the Wii, I was like, I'm not really interested in Nintendo that much anymore. I'm a full Sony guy. I'm even more into Microsoft's Xbox right now. But then this Breath of the Wild game came out, and I was like, oh, man, that sounds awesome. Kept hearing about it, and I said, fuck. A deal was presented to me where I can get a Switch and Breath of the Wild for a fairly good price. I took the plunge, and that game absolutely changed everything again, man. I am back into the Nintendo life cycle. Breath of the Wild absolutely blew me away. I don't like. There's really not much more I could say about that. It's just I couldn't believe like let's just compare it to games like Skyrim and Fallout. Where Fallout, it's like, yeah, it's an open world game, but like, you know, there's limitations. There's mountains I can't climb. There's certain things I can't go to. And Breath of the Wild, you can do whatever the fuck you want, kiddo. You want to climb up that? You want to jump off it? Go ahead. You want to slide down the mountain? Go ahead. There is just the level of exploration in Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom is so high. You can, whatever you think of, even like you can think so far out of the box, get out of the box, send the box to China, get out of that box and step outside of a box and duplicate the box, step out of that box, and you're so far out of the box at this point. And there's still more. There's still more ideas outside of those boxes that Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are throwing at you. It's mind-melting. In the first game, you get these little fucking shrines you go into, and each puzzle, they'll present you with a puzzle that has numerous ways to get through it. Whatever your brain can come up with to get through it, you go for it. And just that level of freedom I have never ever felt in a video game. There has never been a game more free and open than Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. It is like finally they're what they always wanted Legend of Zelda to be. I feel like they have finally, as close as they can, have gotten to that dream, that what they wanted it to be originally, where you're just feeling like a kid roaming in these just unknown worlds. It's so close to that. It's just magical, honestly magical. And yes, I know the stories are whatever and stuff like that. Characters are whatever, but it's all in the gameplay. The puzzles, the temples, the boss fights, just the exploration, and Tears of the Kingdom, how they were somehow able to make the game even crazier. Building shit now. You can build whatever the fuck you want. You want to build a rocket ship, you can build a rocket ship, you can build motorcycles, you can build fucking buildings it's amazing, man. Just, I can't even believe a game like this exists, and it's a Legend of Zelda game with this. It's a magical video game. It brought me all the way back into the Nintendo. I've always loved Zelda. Like, Ocarina of Time was number one for me for a very, very long time, and Breath of the Wild was the one that finally knocked Ocarina of Time off of its pedestal. It is what it is. Like, Ocarina of Time is like in this tier as well. It's just that it's been upgraded now. Like, yes, I can play Ocarina of Time, but now there's Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, those are the pinnacle Legend of Zelda games. And yes, I know there's the Link to the Past, which I played last year for the first time. It was fucking wonderful video game, but it's got nothing on Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, how could it? It was made in the fucking 90s, but it's Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom for me. They're my favorite games of all time. If I was stuck on a fucking island somewhere and they're like, you get one video game, Breath of the Wild would be a high consideration. I would definitely be thinking of games like Minecraft, something like that, just because. Anyway, that's all we're doing. Minecraft's not my favorite game. It's just a game that I might take with me on a stranded island. That's all I'm saying. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, my favorite games of all time, and that is my list, everybody. Thank you so friggin' much for listening to me ramble about video games, wrestling, hockey, whatever you're listening to. We've made it to, this is all 3 podcasts now have hit 100 episodes. And that's all thanks to y'all listening to me ramble and just allowing me to vent and talk about the things that I'm very passionate and love. I love video games, hockey, and wrestling. So thanks to everybody, new, old, day one, day new, it doesn't matter. Thank you for listening to me. And I can't wait to continue talking about video games for another 100 episodes. It's going to be a blast. And maybe in episode 200, we will do a retake of the top 100 games. It'll be a few years from now, so it'll probably change. But absolutely encourage y'all to let me know what your favorite games of all time are. And yeah, man, fucking let your freak flag fly, if you will. Just let me know what your favorite games are. Do we have a similar list? Do we have similar tastes? Are we completely opposites? Do you hate the games that are on my list? I mean, you don't have to be hating on them. Just say I disagree. But regardless, that was a blast. That was a ton of fun making the list and talking about these games, going down memory lane. Not gonna lie, definitely got the feels a little bit, like listening to the music and talking about these games that meant so much to me. But there will be more games that mean as much to me as some of these do on this list. But by far, there's definitely going to be some games that are just untouchables, like Chrono Trigger. I don't know if that bitch is ever going anywhere. It's going to be hard. But that's my list, y'all. And that's another episode down, 100 down, 100 more to go, let's say. But thank you so much for listening to this guy ramble on and on. It's been a blast, and I can't wait to do some more episodes for y'all, but that's it for me for today. Thank you again for listening, and we will be back with some more GX Plus case.